Hi, my name is Anna Marfori, and today I'm here to explain to you why I believe that gender and race should not be included in the job hiring process. Most women who try to enter their job field face some sort of discrimination when it comes to the hiring process. Not only that, but also people of color. They're consistently put at a disadvantage and are looked over and passed over for, let's say, like the heterosexual one. This is an important issue because it has not only been prevailing in today's society, but it has been something that's even my mother had to deal with way back when she was applying for jobs. There are several studies that show how women and people of color are consistently put at a disadvantage and looked over when it comes to job opportunities. Today I'm here to try to persuade you why I believe that gender and race should not be included in the hiring process and that they should not require you to state it in order to level the playing field and reduce the bias that we have within our companies. Today I will first explain to you the problems, second I will explain to you the causes, and third I will explain to you the solutions. Women and people of color possess the same exact skills and attributes as others, yet they're consistently looked over for job positions. This is an important problem to rectify because in order for it to be an even playing field, everybody needs to have the same opportunities, and in order to diversify our places of work. Women are consistently put at a disadvantage and are typically chosen and typically men are chosen over women. In an article called Why Employers Favor Men from Harvard Business Law, written in September 11, 2017, it states how a study where they simulated the hiring process, women were only found to be chosen 30% of the time. They said that employers typically steered away from hiring women. Another study titled How Stereotypes Impair Women's Careers in Science, published on March 10th of 2014 by the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America, it states that both women and men employers are twice as likely to choose a man over a woman. Not only do studies show that women are consistently looked over, but so are people of color, and they're put at a disadvantage when asked to state their ethnicity in their job applications. A study called Hiring Strategies, Racial Bias in Inner City Workers from the Book of Social Problems from November 1st, 1991, it shows that employers would send their recruitment teams out to white neighborhoods rather than neighborhoods of people of color. And in another article entitled Hiring Discrimination Against Black Americans Hasn't Declined in 25 Years, written on October 11th of 2017 by Harvard Business Review as well, it states that in an analysis that white applicants were chosen about 36% of them, 36% more on average than the Black applicants for callbacks for their job opportunities, and the white applicants were also 24% more likely to get a callback than those of Latino descent. This shows how even with identical resumes, they still steered away from choosing people of color for their jobs. So these are only a few problems that I have stated, but there are many more that have taken part in the reason why gender and race have been a bias in the hiring process. Now that I've talked about the problems, I will talk about the causes, which include how in past times men were the breadwinners, as well as how companies have like this racial bias and racial idea when it comes to who they want and what they want in their company. In American society, it was ingrained in our people that women were not meant to work, that men were supposed to be the breadwinners and women were meant to stay at home. Although it's not as big of a statement and as big of a policy in our society today, it still plays a part in how it's affected people's views of women in the workplace. They believe that women should still be housewives, or that they do not belong in places of high leadership in comparison to that of men. Not only that, but people of color are also consistently looked over by their employers due to the bias and the lack of wanting to diversify their companies. In an article from Human Resource Direct titled Racial Bias is Still in Hiring Still Rampant from June 25th of 2019, it shows that not only in America but other countries, we still see like racial discrimination and bias in the workplace. In Native countries that had high discrimination, they were twice as white natives were twice as likely to get a job opportunity or a job callback in comparison to people of color. And then those with lower discrimination in their country were more likely to see about 25% of white natives getting more callbacks and job opportunities than the people of color. So these are some of the causes that I have talked about as to why women and people of color have been looked over for job opportunities, and I will now talk to you about the solutions, not only that you can take as an individual, but that we can take as a society. As an individual and a society as a whole, there are steps we can take in order to rectify this issue that's been prevalent not only now, but also in our pastime. Individually, it's important that we remain open-minded and when it comes to meeting new people, interacting and working with others, so that we can get rid of the stigma against gender and race bias in our workplace. And as a society, a solution would be removing the requirement to even place gender or race on your job application. This way, the process will be strictly based on a person's skills, knowledge, experience, and whatever pertains to their job. Rather, it removes the bias and the discrimination against any specific individual. Today, I persuaded my audience as to why gender and race should not be included in a job application. First, I talked about the problems, then I talked about the causes, and then lastly, I talked about the solutions. Not only myself as a woman, but people that I always interact with and I have in my life have dealt with gender or race discrimination of some sort. Today, I ask that you all go out and fight the bias against your work, bias and discrimination in your workplace and other workplaces that you may come to in the future, and that way we are able to normalize hiring based off of skill and experience rather than any other physical and appearance reasons. Thank you.